everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah. If you've not watched any of my videos before, I am a mum to two babies, and the first one I didn't manage to breastfeed really at all. They only lasted about a week. And my second one, I am now 5 months going strong breastfeeding, but we had a horrible start. He didn't latch for a month, so I exclusively expressed for a month, then he eventually latched, and yeah, we've been feeding ever since. So I thought I'd do a quick video just about my breastfeeding tips. There'll be some very standard ones that you hear everywhere else, but there might be a couple other ones that you might not have heard before, or you might not agree with if you're very breast is best, because I'm quite fed is best. That is my sort of feeling. I don't mind bottle fed or breastfed, just whatever works for your baby. So yeah, my first one is, and it's the one that everybody says, is you have to get your latch right. It sounds like such a simple thing. It's so textbook. Like you look and there's a photo of a baby breastfeeding, and then there's a little diagram with sort of like the mouth and then like nearly the whole boob in their mouth, and basically what you're trying to aim, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get as much in as possible so that your nipple isn't going against their hard palate at the front, it's at their soft palate at the back, because if it's hitting against the hard palate, then it causes you a lot of pain and discomfort, and you won't get your milk out properly for them. So yeah, it's so much easier said than done. It really is. It's just a case of putting them on, taking them off if it's wrong, putting them on, trying again, and just keep going with it. Get help, get someone to show you, get someone to move your baby around. To be honest, even though I was in hospital for 5 days after having Nathan, I had everybody under the sun come and look at my latch, and it still didn't work. So you just have to go with what's going on in your situation. Know you're trying your best to try and get basically as much of your nearly like your whole nipple and your areola into their mouth, so that it's, like I said, it's not against the hard palate. But easier said than done, I know. Second tip, and this is a huge one, is get help as early as you can. Out of all my friends who've breastfed and people I know that have breastfed, I would say 90% it did not come naturally to, and had to get some form of help. So don't feel like a failure. Definitely seek someone out as soon as you can. I think the reason I actually managed to feed Lachlan in the end was because I got so much help. I stayed in hospital 5 days postnatally for that reason and for other reasons, and I saw breastfeeding support people. I had midwives. Then when I came home, I had the health visitors who were wonderful, and I had a breastfeeding peer support person come around who wasn't that great, to be honest, but the health visitors were amazing, and they're meant to be quite hands-off these days, but I was like, please just do it, show me what to do, sort of thing. So just be honest with them, be open, tell them exactly what's going on. Don't pretend things are better than they are, because then you won't get the help you need. It might just be that one magical person that comes along and just goes click and does something and it works. It might not. In my case, that's not what happened. I had to keep going and going and going, and then eventually one really random day he decided to latch, and it was just bizarre because I hadn't actually done anything different. So sometimes it does come down to your baby more than you. Your baby's learning as well. Your baby, they make it out that your baby comes out completely naturally knowing what to do and everything, but that's not always the case. My baby didn't have a clue, and he also had a teeny tiny mouth, so it didn't work until he was a month old. So you just go with your situation and figure out what's best for you, but definitely get help early. Speak up, go to your midwife, your postnatal midwife, or if you're still in hospital, ask someone, or your health visitor, or they have NCT breastfeeding counsellors or NHS peer support. There is so much help out there, or there's loads of help online. I watched a lot of YouTube videos to try and help me, and got in touch with, I think it's Lalesh or whatever, some organisations. So just ask somebody. My third very classic tip is try different positions. Again, in hospital this did not work for me. We tried the normal cradle hold, the rugby hold, the lying down, some random one where I was on my back and Lachlan was over my shoulder, or what. So yeah, I tried everything, and again it just happened one day. Now he'll feed in any position basically, but yeah, try out lots of different positions if you've not tried that already. Again, YouTube's very good for that. YouTube show you some really great positions and some deep latch positions, which sounds kind of rude, but yeah, I watched a few of them, and I think it did help towards the end of me having to exclusively express and him latching, because I just had all these sort of examples in my mind that just sort of helped me get them on. My fourth tip, which might be a bit controversial, is try nipple shields if you have to. There's nothing wrong with trying nipple shields. I felt really like dirty and wrong for buying them, but my midwives were the ones in the end who were like, have you tried them? And I was like, no, they've been in my bag sitting there all sterilized, and I've been too scared to get them out in case anyone judges me. And they were like, no, get them out, let's try them. And in the end I tried 3 different types of nipple shields, and he did kind of latch with one of them, but not properly in the end, but I think it probably helped my milk come in. So definitely try nipple shields. Don't believe the whole, oh, they won't feed on you if you use nipple shields, because I really don't think that's the case. I'll probably get a lot of grief for that comment. In the beginning, like me, if it really isn't working, then don't be afraid to express, and then either syringe feed, cup feed, bottle feed, whatever you think's best or whatever is being suggested to you for your baby's needs, because at the end of the day, your baby just needs fed in whatever way possible. There is no point putting your baby through losing loads and loads of weight just because you really need to breastfeed. And I almost got to that situation where Lachlan had lost a lot of weight, and my midwives were the ones who were like, we need to try a bottle now, because we've been cup feeding him and syringe feeding him and he just wasn't waking up and he didn't have enough energy. And I was expressing as much as I could, which was nothing in the early days, like that teeny tiny bit of colostrum. So in the end, he had to have a bit of formula while we were in hospital, but 5 months in, I'm exclusively breastfeeding. So don't think that it's the end of your journey if you have to do anything like that, because it definitely isn't if you don't want it to be. 5th tip, make sure to burp them. I heard some myth that babies don't need burps if they're breastfed. That's definitely not true. Lachlan had really bad colic and he now has silent reflux, so burping was a huge thing for us, like trapped wind. If they're not, it probably comes down to, again, maybe not having the best latch, so maybe he was taking in more air than he would have if he was latched properly. But definitely breastfed babies need burped, so you want to add to the comfort. You don't want them to associate feeding with being uncomfortable, so burp them. 6th tip, express, because you'll be quite surprised if you're worried about how much your baby's getting or you think they're not getting enough. Have a go at expressing and see how much actually comes out. You might be surprised. You might have a particularly fast flow. I probably have sort of medium flow, because it would take me quite a while to get a good full-on feed out when I'm expressing. But yeah, you'd be surprised. And also expressing's great if you want to go out and about or let your partner help with the feeding and enjoy that bond as well. I know a lot of people don't like the whole mixing bottle and breastfeeding, and that's totally fine. If you just want to exclusively breastfeed, then ignore what I'm saying just now. But I like expressing because I like my freedom. I like to be able to go out for a few hours. I like to give my husband the opportunity to feed his son, and yeah, it's great. And even if you're not even using it, you can express and keep it in the freezer for if you're sick or if something happens where you have to be away for a while. You've got that backup, so you know that they're still getting their milk. In terms of expressing, I have a few pumps I use. So I use my Matella double pump. Loved it. This was amazing. This is the reason I'm still breastfeeding. I used this when I was exclusively expressing, and it was probably the only reason my milk supply came in, to be honest. So yeah, it's a double pump. I don't know why I don't have the things attached. Here we go. It's a double pump that looks like this. I will do some sort of review or something on it at some point. And you just put it on and it goes with that funny noise, and you express and it fills up. I think double pumping is good because you get more milk out apparently. It stimulates more milk flow. But I also have a handheld breast pump. I'm showing you the box because it's currently in the sterilizer, which I've used a few times, but not half as much as the electric one. And then my saving grace, I absolutely love my Hacker pump. I've got a little review of that up on my channel anyway, so I'll pop a link below for you. But it's just this little bit of silicone, medical grade silicone that you just attach on, leave it, and it draws your milk out. So very, very easy. And if you're not into like full-on expressing, then I'd highly recommend this just for getting bits and bobs out whenever you need it. Tip number 8, I think, use nipple cream, cooling pads, whatever you need to give yourself some sort of comfort, because the early days, I got mastitis as well, and the early days are so sore. You want to do anything to make your poor boobies feel a bit better. So yeah, just buy everything, get everything. If you're wanting to do something a bit more natural, apparently cabbage helps, but I didn't do that this time because I tried that with Viola and it just stank and it was horrible, so I didn't do it this time. Also make sure you have nursing bras that fit correctly, because when your boobs are going up and down, you need some nice comfortable, I keep doing this, some nice comfortable nursing bras to make sure you're nice and comfy, especially when you're feeding. I found some of the nursing bras I bought, when I sort of take them down to feed them, they dig in underneath, and that's horrible. So get nice soft stretchy ones. They might not be very attractive, but you won't have to wear them forever. Tip number 9, don't believe everything everyone tells you. There is no one breastfeeding experience that's the same, and while people might have tips that can help you, don't ever feel like you're not doing well or you're not doing the right thing or the right way just because it's not the same as someone else. I had some interesting characters come into my breastfeeding journey to try and help me, who told me all sorts of rubbish, like horrible things about formula and just lots of things that weren't true. So be careful what you listen to and what people say, and take everything with a pinch of salt, and just believe in yourself, believe in what you want to believe in and what you think is best for your child. And And lastly, this is probably going to be a controversial one for people who don't believe in fed is best, but don't feel like a failure if you just can't carry on anymore. I couldn't the first time round, and I was so close to stopping this time round as well, but never feel like a failure. I thought this time round that I wouldn't feel like a failure if I had to stop. I thought, oh no, I've done it before, I don't mind formula feeding, but for some reason it just takes a hold of you. And I remember sitting googling all sorts of nonsense, like trying to find out what celebrities didn't breastfeed so that I could feel better about myself, and just ridiculous stuff. So try and not feel guilty if you decide it's just too much for you, because it is really hard for most of us. It's not that lovely natural have a baby, shove them on, they feed and you're done sort of experience for most of us. So if you need to stop, just stop. Don't feel guilty. And that's my 10 tips, my 10 breastfeeding tips. So I hope you enjoyed this, and subscribe if you haven't already, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you very soon. And let me know if there's any other sort of breastfeeding videos you fancy. Bye!